Although Mexico has more than 74 million Catholics, being the second most Catholic country in the world, not all of this region's believers have faith in their church. This sentiment is also felt by the estimated thousands of victims of sexual abuse by Catholic priests here in Mexico. The victims who speak out say the church's influence is intertwined with state power, making impunity rampant.
Unfortunately, the judicial systems are not designed to provide us victims with sufficient support against these crimes, and it's worse when it has to do with members of the clergy who are generally corrupt just like those in the government.
Although the church's Pope Francis sent a letter last week to the institution's bishops declaring that there is no place for those who conceal clerical child abuse, rights defenders argue that the Pope's calls are only superficial.
These measures do not correspond to a no-tolerance policy against clerical pedophilia. Instead, they worsen the pain of the victims, and they do not generate institutional processes which would allow for truth and justice.
Rights groups in the Americas are building an international network so as to help victims denounce abuse as well as bring cases to criminal courts outside of the church. Victims and rights defenders say that to ultimately end pedophilia in the church will take much more than the political will of the Pope, but rather fundamental systemic changes to the Vatican. Clayton Can, Telesur, Mexico City.